Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Rush Roots. Today we have Matt. So, Matt, why don't you tell us who you are, where you're from?
Sure. My name is Matt Gluckman. I'm 21 years old. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm a lifelong Rush fan, which is how I ended up here.
All right. Well, then tell us how you heard about Rush. What kind of drew you in and what keeps you around? What's
Yeah,
your Rush
well,
roots?
sure. I don't really have a moment where I can tell you this is the first Rush song I heard, or this is the first time I ever heard them, because it's really always been a part of my life. My dad was playing their music. My dad was a huge Rush fan. He passed away last year, but he was a huge Rush fan. They were his favorite band by far. And like I said, we always had Rush on, you know, all the time. So it was inescapable. You either had to adapt and learn to love it like me and my brother did, or it was going to be a long, long childhood of old rock music for us. And what keeps me in is just the fact that the songs are so great and it's really timeless music. I mean, it stands the test of time. I don't think there's anything that's been really put out since they stopped that has been, better. There's been stuff that might be on that level, but they've always been, they remain one of the top musical acts of all time, in my opinion. So, I mean, and I always listen to a variety of their music, and I always get different things each time. We were talking about this a little bit on the Hemispheres discussion, where you can listen to the same song 50 times and hear 50 different notes that you might not have heard the last time, and
Sure.
that's what keeps me coming back and listening to it.
Awesome. Well, why don't you tell us when, where, and what tour your first Rush show was?
Sure. My very first show was on the Snakes and Arrows tour in 2007. I was 8 years old at the beautiful, scenic PNC Bank Art Center in Homedale, New Jersey, which is kind of this weird, like, open air sort of shed type of place that's like smack dab in the middle of the Garden State Parkway. It's not that pretty. There's a lot of mosquitoes and whatever. And we were on the lawn section. We didn't even have seats, but I don't recall sitting down too much. I really um, was, and I was like the talk of the show too, because people were like, "Oh my god, like if only I could get my kid to come see this." And I was asking my dad, like, when are they going to do Between the Wheels and stuff like that. Like, it was like a little bit ridiculous. Um, but yeah, so I saw them on Snakes and Arrows tour for the first time, and then I saw the Clockwork Angels tour in 2012, and those were the two times that I saw the band. So I don't know if that's did I interrupt
Yeah.
and throw off a
No,
future question, but
No, you're good.
those are my two
perfect.
shows.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
All right.
perfect. All right. Well, what was your first favorite song and your first favorite album? And how does that differ from your favorite song and favorite album today?
This is going to be a great answer because it's all remarkably consistent. The first song that I remember falling in love with from Rush from the time that I was probably 3 or 4 years old. So my earliest memories with music at all are trying to sing Free Will, especially that middle part where each of us a cell of awareness. I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna try, but you know what I mean.
Probably
Um,
could do it at 8, right?
oh yeah, at 8 years old I could do it, but now I can't. Um, and Yeah, so I mean that is still, if I had to pick one Rush song to bring with me on a desert island to listen to over and over again, it would probably be Free Will, as it was then, and that record Permanent Waves as it is now. It's something I make
So,
no secret about. Counterparts is a close second for me personally, but Permanent Waves again has to be my desert island album from them.
Okay.
If I
yeah.
can only take one.
It's
Sure.
such a great album. I mean, all the songs on it
Mm.
just amazing, incredible.
For sure. All right. Well, why don't you tell us where people can find you on social media if they'd like to reach out to you and get to know you a little bit more as a Rush fan or perhaps become Rush friends?
Sure, my Instagram is Matt_Gluckman. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'm
Say that one more time.
Matt_Gluckman. I kind of messed up the word underscore
Okay.
there. It's been
You
a
said
long day.
underscore Gluckman twice, so I just
I
wanted to
did.
clarify.
I did. Matt_Gluckman. You can have Alex put it up if you can. Um, it's yeah. So that's it. It's a private Instagram. So if you request to follow me, I'll probably get around to it eventually. You know what I mean? I look through it every now and again. But yeah, that's my Instagram, personal Instagram.
Cool.
Sounds good. Anything else you want to add interesting about yourself in terms of Rush?
In terms of Rush, I mean, you know, not a whole hell of a lot, but like, it's always been one of those things. It's been a really good musical sort of escape for me in my life, and you know, it's I'm so glad that I was able to find you guys, and I think about the crazy story that I have of even getting involved with Rush fans. It's really nuts, but I'm so thankful for it because it's really a nice outlet for my nerdiness that now my family and friends don't have to deal with it as much.
Why don't you tell that story real quick?
Okay, sure. So the story is that I actually was randomly assigned to be college roommates with Pat, who was at the time
Oh,
admin of the page, and me and my buddies were hanging around at it was midnight or whatever, and I had the aux, and of course I had Rush on. I think it was Test for Echo or Driven. It was something off of the Test for Echo album. I know that's what was playing, and Pat walked in. He's like, "Oh, sick! You like Rush?" I'm like, this man like just pinned like The Color of Right. Like what the hell? Like he actually knows Rush. And so then I proceed to be like, oh yeah. And then I'd hit him with like a motion detector or like high water. Like I started hitting him with the really deep tracks. And he's like, yeah, I love them. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's
wow.
like, yeah, I actually am an admin for this fan page. And I'm like, there's not too many fan pages. And like I know, and I was a fan, believe it or not. I had followed you guys since Ryan, you made the page in what, 2012, 2013?
2013. Yeah.
Like 2015 when I first got Instagram, it was like one of the first pages I followed because it was like came up for me. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, hell yeah, I'll follow the Rush fan page. And then here we are some years later. It's
Yeah.
kind of nuts.
And then you and Pat looked at each other and said, "Did we just become best friends?" And then the rest is
Basically, yeah. And then we got on the I got on the round table and that was it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's great. All
Cool.
right. Matt underscore Gluckman if you want to get to know Matt on Instagram. We can wrap there and take care, everybody.
Cool. Thanks.